Today I'm talking about questions you might ask in an interview for business school if you are interviewing with someone on admissions committee. Now, frequently, if your interview is with someone from admissions, you may not know that individual's name in advance. But if you do know the name of the person you're interviewing with, it is totally okay and absolutely something you should do to look them up on LinkedIn, learn a little bit more about them. One of the challenges with interviewing with someone at admissions committee is that they may not have an MBA or have gone through the business school experience at the particular program where you are interviewing. So make sure you know the answer to that question if you know who is interviewing you in advance. Another important thing that you should be thinking about, or at least know in advance of an interview with someone from admissions committee, is what level of information they have about you. Will they be reviewing your application in depth in advance of your interview, which is generally the case at HBS, at MIT, and at NYU? Or was it just luck of the draw that you ended up with someone from admissions committee because perhaps there were no student interviewers available at the time slot that you selected? Questions that you should be thinking about if someone is an admissions committee member. Make sure that you think about what their exposure has been to the program. You might ask, why did you choose to take this role on admissions committee? And as a follow-on to that, perhaps, what's your favorite part of being on admissions committee? It might be traveling around and doing events, meeting prospective students. It might be reading essays. On the flip side, you might ask what tasks they find the most challenging during the admissions process. If there is interaction between the students and faculty and staff at the school, you might ask what types of interactions happen between students, admissions, and other staff of the program. Perhaps everyone's invited to a weekly happy hour and there's a lot of engagement between the students and the faculty. That is not necessarily the case at all of the programs. You might ask someone on admissions committee what recent initiatives, either driven by students or administrators, have had the greatest positive impact on students. Did they change something up in terms of how they put the class together? Did they change the emphasis in some of the curriculum? Did they change the way they put together learning teams or put together the cohorts? You might ask if there is a tradition that is definitely a don't miss, or some sort of initiative. Every school has their own unique events and initiatives. Understand from the perspective of admissions committee what they find to be most unique to their school. You might ask at the end if it would be possible to share any updates with them in advance of decisions. One thing you don't want to ask is, hey, can you give me feedback on my application? Or, hey, what are my shots of getting in now that I've had an interview? That is not something that you should be discussing during an interview situation. Hope these have helped. Wishing you all the best with your interview.